Hi guys, what I'm going to do today is show you how to create a color mosaic grid. So what I would like you to do is to find a photo that looks good, cropped square. Usually lighter photos work a little bit better, but it doesn't really matter. I want you to find one you like that you want to mess with. But think about the composition as when it's cropped to square. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new document. So I'm going to go to File, New. And then I'm going to name mine Mosaic 2 because I'm making a separate one. And then I'm going to switch this to inches, switch it to inches first. I'm going to do 8 by 8, 300 pixels an inch. This should just be on RGB 8. And the background, make sure the background's white. So I'm going to do create. So now I need to create a grid. So what I'm going to do is go down here to create a new layer. And then I'm going to go up here. So I'm on a Mac, so mine's going to look a little different than yours. But you need to go to File and Preferences. There should be something in here that says Preferences. If you can't find it, just let me know in class. And then select mine's up here. So from the Preferences, you want to find Guides, Grid, and Slices. So Guides, Grids, and Slices. And then this menu comes up on your Preferences. And then you want to go to the grid, don't touch anything else, and it's just going to be grid line every 10%, subdivisions 1. So I'm setting up how my photo is divided with guidelines. So you can change this if you're doing different assignments and stuff. But so grid line every 10%, subdivisions 1. Then I'm going to do OK. So now I need to make the grid visible. So I'm going to go to View. I'm going to go to Show Grid. So remember, this is just a guide, so it's not really there. If I was going to go to print this, this wouldn't show up. Sorry, I want to turn off that bar. If that bar bothers you, if you go to Window, it's Contextual Taskbar. It's bothering me, so I turned it off. Okay, so now I need to select the grid lines, and then I'm going to color them in. So over here on your toolbar, yours probably looks like this. So you need to go to the rectangular marquee tool, and then you're going to scroll down on the menu to the single row marquee tool. You need to come up here and then hit this second one. So this second one means add to the selection. So make sure you're hitting this one. We're adding to the selection. And then we're going to start selecting the lines. So I'm holding Shift as I do this. So make sure you're holding Shift. And then just trying to get right on that line. If you make a mistake, Control Z. And try to get it on there as accurately as you can. So I'm lining up that little line with the grid line. Okay, so now that I've done this way, I need to go vertical. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to do single column marquee tool. Then make sure you're on this one, which is add to selection. If you don't hit that one, it won't add to it. I was like pulling my hair out trying to figure out why it wasn't working. That was why. And then again, make sure you're holding Shift because you don't want to lose all this. So if it disappears, that means you did not hold the Shift key. Okay, one more. All right. So now I need to fill in these lines with an actual color. So I'm going to do Edit, Fill, pick black. Yours might be on white. So go to the menu, pick black. Don't touch any of this. And you're going to go OK. Now I'm going to hit Control D. So you should have some squares there. So now that we have our grid lined up, we need to add our photo. So you need to go to File, Open, and pick your photo. Remember, in Photoshop, it needs to be a JPEG. So if the photo you're going to use is in Lightroom, you need to go to Export on Lightroom and export it as a JPEG. Yes, I know it's a pain, but that's what you have to do. So I already have mine open. So this is a different photo than the one I did here, but I just wanted to show you. So first I need to crop this as a square. So again, make sure you find a photo that looks good cropped as a square. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to make it 8 by 8. And so now I can, this one looks good as a square too. So I'm just going to adjust. Okay, once I get it where I want, I'm going to hit return. So now I have my square. Now the next thing we need to do is make this match the size of our new document. So I'm going to go to image, image size, and then I'm going to make it 8 by 8 inches, and then 300 resolution. I'm going to hit OK. So yours might get bigger or smaller, it just depends on your image. So I have this. So now I need to take this and put it in there. So I'm going to do Control A, Control C, Control V, like violet. So now it fits. If you like it like this, you don't want a white border, you don't have to make a white border, but I'm going to make mine have a white border. So I'm going to do that by hitting Control T, and I'm going to shrink it to fit in those grid lines, and I'm going to hit enter. All right, so now I have my image, I have my grid. I'm going to take this image, and I'm actually going to double click here and name it grid so I know what I'm doing. And I'm going to double click this and call it image. I'm going to drag the grid layer above the image. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select some of the squares to kind of erase in a way. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to the magic wand. So yours might be on a different tool. Just kind of click around. That's the one at the top. You want magic wand selection tool. And when you're doing this, think about doing them in kind of like groups. Like try to think about a plan when you're doing it. So I'm just clicking. I'm going to select these as like a square, maybe like that. And then kind of like as a diagonal, like that maybe. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe you want like a couple over there. I'm not really sure. Like there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go edit, fill, and then I'm going to fill it with white. And then I don't like that. So I'm going to do Control Z. I'm going to undo Control Z. To get rid of the selection, you do Control D. So I'm going to start again. So then I didn't like taking away that. So I'm just going to do those for now. So I'm going to go edit, fill, white. All right. And actually I might even do one more down there. So I'm going to do edit, fill, white. And you can always go back and do this again. Okay, so now that I've done that, now I'm going to start messing with the colors. So again, I'm going to pick, I think they kind of look good as a group, but again, it's your work. You do you. So I'm going to pick some over here, and I'm going to pick some over here. Now, I'm not going to stay on the grid. What I want to do is I want to go to the image. So now I'm on the image, because this is the layer with the grid. And I'm going to go down here to this little half and half. And I'm going to go to hue saturation. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit colorize. And now you can like play around with the hue. If you turn it off, it kind of looks like that. So this is like colorizing that little part of your photo. I mean, it's up to you how different you want it to look. And then, you know, it's up to your, like, how you want just what your subject is. And then you can mess with the saturation. And then another thing you can mess with, the lightness. You may want to make it darker, lighter. I mean, I could do this all day. I'm going to try to not. You can go right here. So this is called a blend mode. So this affects how this layer blends with all the others. So this is pretty cool. So you can scroll down here. I kind of like that one. I'll just pick that one. And then kind of change the way it interacts. So now I want to pick a few more. I'm going to go back to the grid. I'm going to go back to my magic wand. And then maybe I want to pick some over here. Maybe, so I'm going to hold shift and pick some over there. Make sure before you do anything, you go back to the image. I'm going to go back here. So I could pick color or the hue saturation again. I can pick black and white. So you could play around with this. You can hit tint and it kind of does the same thing as the colorize. Just another way to do it. I kind of like messing around with that. If not, it's just black and white. And then again, I can mess with the blend mode. Ooh, I like that. Like I said, I will sit here for like an hour doing this. So I'm going to try to just do it. Not think too hard. Okay, I lied. I'm thinking too hard. I don't know what to pick. I'm just pick that one. Okay. And you can keep doing this. So as many or as few as you want. So I'm going to go here. I'll do one more. Oops. Go here to the grid. Magic wand. Let's do this one and this one. And actually, you don't need to hit shift. Sorry. I'll just do those two. All right, one more. I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to go here. And then, like I said, there's a whole bunch of stuff. You want to play around in here, go for it. But I'm going to do, you could do, there's posterize in here somewhere. There's threshold. Those make it look like, depending on your photo, like you can make it look like a poster. Like that. So you could play around with that. Like if you have a portrait, that might be pretty cool. All right, so you could take your time, mess with this. Like if you want to go back and add more white squares, you would just go to the grid and click it and then edit fill white. So if you want to go back and forth doing that, you want to add more. And then to finish, we want to kind of mess with the grid layer. So I don't want these little tiny lines, right? I want them to be bigger. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit my grid layer. I'm going to go, this says lock right here. I'm going to hit this little like checkerboard one. And it says it's a transparent something or other. And then I'm going to, oh, it's called lock transparent pixels. I'm going to go to edit and fill, and now I'm going to fill it with white. So make sure it's on white. Go okay. And you're probably like, nothing happened. But what we're going to do, make sure that's there. I'm going to click this. I'm going to go to stroke. I don't know why I have 100 of these. I did something. That's why it's like that. Oh, I forgot to take that grid off. I'll show you how to do that. And then you can change the thickness of it. Kind of. So if you like, you want them like thicker lines, thinner lines. So play around. I mean, if you wanted, you could even like change the color. I don't think you would want to. Oops. But you could if you wanted to. So let's go back to white. And then And I will make those black lines go away. I forgot to do that earlier. Okay. Okay. So now to make those black lines go away, I'm going to go View, Show, and then Grid. There. Now that's away. So yeah, this is how to make a color mosaic grid. I don't like this one, but you know, I like this one a lot better. So this one I kept the lines a little smaller. I like what I erased a little bit better. So again, you just have to play around with it. So to save it, once you are completely done, if you want to work on it later, like if you don't finish it in class, remember you want to go File, Save As, and then make sure it is a Photoshop document. Oops. And it is. So that's saved in my cloud. So do on your computer. That was the thing. And then it'll be a Photoshop document. Okay, PSD, Photoshop document. Save that in your cloud. If you're done, we're going to right click, flatten, boom, makes it one image. Then we're going to go File, Export. So if you are done, don't do this if you're not done. If you are done, File, Export As. Then it's a JPEG. You want the quality high. Looks good. Export, and then save it in your cloud or wherever you're saving things. All right. If you have any questions in classes you're working, please let me know. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with this little project. Good job.